For centuries, the Ottoman Empire extended its dominion across three different continents, ruling over diverse populations with various languages and religions. Among the among the renowned warriors were the Janissaries, an elite infantry and cavalry force that also held influential bureaucratic positions. The Janissaries played a significant role in both the rise and fall of the empire. The formation of the Janissaries took place during the early days of the Ottoman Empire, when they served as a small unit of archers responsible for safeguarding the Ottoman sultans. Interestingly, these early Janissaries were actually Christian slaves and prisoners of war who were coerced into service. Byzantine soldiers were initially captured and later joined by additional slaves, acquired during military campaigns or purchased from slave markets. These individuals were selected based on their physical fitness. Historically, it was not uncommon for the ancient kings, Roman emperors, emirs, and caliphs to rely on captured enemy combatants, foreign mercenaries, and slaves as their bodyguard by choosing individuals unfamiliar with the local language and customs. They minimized the risk of palace intrigue and ensured loyalty to the ruling class rather than the interest of the common people. Consequently, serving in a royal bodyguard unit offered high prestige and a favorable quality of life. However, the early Ottoman sultans decided to enhance and centralize their military power. Since the semi-autonomous feudal Turkish cavalry formed the backbone of the early Ottoman armies, but lacked unwavering loyalty to the Sultan. A counterbalance was needed. This led to the transformation of the Janissaries from a mere bodyguard unit into a formidable army with two primary objectives: increasing the total number of troops and improving their quality. To achieve these goals, the recruitment system underwent a radical overhaul. The practice of enlisting adult prisoners of wars and slaves was gradually phased out, and instead, every 5 years, a representative of the Sultan journeyed to the Balkans and collected a human tax. One child from every Christian rural household over the age of 8 was taken to be raised by a Muslim family and trained as a Janissary in their households. The potential Janissaries spent their initial years with their adoptive families, learning the Turkish language fluently along with the Islamic law, culture and customs and the norms. After this phase, they were taken to the capital city for rigorous physical and mental examinations. Those displaying exceptional abilities were assigned with special roles. All Janissary cadets underwent 6 to 8 years of training in wrestling, weightlifting, horsemanship and various weapons. During this training, celibacy was expected, and those unable to meet the high standards were dismissed upon completion of their training, typically in the early 20s. The cadets became full-fledged Janissaries, having undergone a comprehensive indoctrination process. That soldiers were completely devoted and loyal to the Sultan. The Sultan referred to them as "my sons." Although technically considered slave soldiers and property of the Sultan, the Janissaries enjoyed a significant higher social status compared to the other slaves, and the majority of the free-born Ottoman subjects, they received a good pay, a generous pension upon retirement, and were provided with new clothes and uniform at least once a year to maintain a respectable appearance. Throughout Ottoman history, many Janissaries occupied the highest positions in government, including the prestigious role of Grand Vizier, second in power only to the Sultan. What was initially seen as a form of kidnapping and a curse became viewed as a blessing by many of the parents. Even among Muslims, some parents began offering bribes to the recruiting officers to ensure their sons' lives as Janissaries, like the government job that they're doing right now. So, joining the Janissaries provided an opportunity for social advancement and the possibility of financial support. Ottoman Empire expanded, so did the ranks of the Janissaries. The small bodyguard unit transformed into a professional standing army in the battles. When most of the Ottoman army was on the verge of defeat, the Janissaries valiantly held their ground and turned the tide of battle ultimately bringing the head of the Hungarian king to the Sultan. Less than a decade later, the Janissaries played a crucial role in the final assault on Constantinople, the ancient Roman capital. The determination led to the conquest of city walls. Ottoman's army became one of the first in the world to widely adopt artillery and handheld firearms by the early centuries. Most Janissaries were armed with firearms instead of traditional bows. Significant change occurred when those born as Muslims were officially allowed to join the Janissaries. This change primarily aimed to enable the sons of Janissaries. The old practice of recruiting children from the Balkans gradually faded away, and the Janissaries moved closer to become a hereditary warrior elite as their political influence grew. As centuries passed, military effectiveness declined. Sultan Muhammad II disbanded the Janissaries following a violent clash. Thousands of people were killed when their barracks were shelled with artillery. Surviving members who had opposed the sultans were rounded up and executed, marking the end of Janissaries. In summary, the Janissaries played a significant role in the Ottoman Empire, starting as a small unit of archers composed of captured Christian slaves and prisoners of war. They evolved into a formidable force, transforming from a bodyguard unit into a professional standing army. The Janissaries' military prowess and political influence reached great heights, but their decline ultimately led to their disbandment. They were banned at last in the 20th century.